What's up, guys? Paul Salmon here. I'd like to talk to you guys about a real risk, certainly in this part of the country and in many parts of the country, and that's collisions with birds in flight. So stay tuned. It's coming up. So we just had an aircraft that had a bird strike on a cross-country trek and hit a duck and did some pretty significant damage to the aircraft. Took out the pilot side windshield, broke most of it out. Actually caused a small hole in the So here's the damage to the pilot side windshield. You can see it pretty much broke most of it out here. And then here's a view of the hole that was after the pilot in that little side window. What's sort of incredible was the fact that the duck looks pretty good. He's still mostly intact, but he's not going to be flying anymore these days. So how can we eliminate the risk of running into waterfowl, ducks, and geese at night? Well, guess what? You can't. But there's a few things you can do to minimize it. If you're in areas that you know around wildlife refuges and that sort of thing, where you have a lot of waterfowl in the air at night, then one of the things you can do, if at all possible, if your mission allows it, is to slow down. If you can slow down to 70 or 80 knots, sometimes makes a big difference. One of the biggest things you can do to help you visualize the ducks and geese is to turn on your landing light. And when you got your landing light on, I'll show you a video here in just a second of the landing light on during a rainstorm where you can actually see the rain coming at you quite easily. And the same thing works well with ducks or geese. If you've got your landing light on, and I've flown in the midst of ducks before at night, and it will visualize most of the ducks. Now the thing about it is the ducks can actually fly about 45 to 50 knots. So the next thing you want to do is slow down. If you slow down to about 50 knots, the ducks and the geese can essentially get out of your way. And it works the same way during the day. If you end up inadvertently flying into the midst of a bunch of ducks or geese, just slow the thing down. You get it down to about 50 knots and the ducks and the geese will mostly get out of your way and won't require any sort of radical maneuvering to try to avoid hitting them. Okay, now one of the things you might think about doing is climbing. Although I'll just tell you, I have seen waterfowl at 1,000 feet above the ground and higher at night. So, climbing is probably a really good idea, but you probably need to get on up there a bit, 1,500, 2,000 feet, to make any significant difference in helping to avoid flying in the midst of a big group of ducks or geese. Okay, so let's address the 3,000-pound elephant or whatever in the room, and that has to do with impact-resistant windshields. All right, I can remember 30 years ago we hit a duck at about 1,500 feet at midnight over downtown St. Louis, and I can remember thinking at the time, man, it's a shame we don't have bulletproof windshields we could put in these things so that you're not going to have some bird or something penetrate the windshield, and cause an accident. So now, guess what? We've got those available now. And in fact, I'm going to show you here a video that Robinson put out. They have impact-resistant, ballistic, polycarbonate, whatever you'd like to describe it as, windshield. And it is amazing the amount of force that it takes to actually, how much it'll put up with deflecting and without penetrating the windshield. So let's take a quick look at that. You'll be amazed. Okay, so I'll make the prediction right now, right here and now. Eventually, in industries such as EMS, this may become the industry standard. Now, it's not there yet, but it's going to be. May not happen this year, may not happen next year. Well, in the next few years, I can see an industry standard of going to impact resistant windshields for EMS helicopters. How about crop dusting? Again, same thing with crop dusting. It's more of a risk with hitting wires and having the windshield fragment and coming back on you. And if you hold on here just a second, I'll show you some video of that. Or not video, but I'll show you some still photos of what happens when you hit a set of wires while you're crop dusting. Those pieces of plexiglass can come back at you and can be significant. So let's take a look at that as well. Okay, so you heard it here from me first. I think that in several industries, probably EMS the first because it's much more regulated than, say, crop dusting is, that this will become a standard. You're going to see impact resistant windshields come along, and maybe that may branch out into other sections of the helicopter industry that we go to impact resistant windshields. They're expensive, they cost a lot of money, and they're probably well worth the expenditure. So, let's see what happens. We'll see. So I hope you enjoyed the video and learned a little something from it. If you did, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Down with the skid.